my newest LPNs. Her name is Miss Armani Forcer. Thank you so much, Armani, for taking time out of your busy schedule today to share your testimony. I always feel that it's important for students to share their testimony because there's so many students that are in similar positions or predicaments and they feel like I'm never going to pass this test. And that's why I invited you today. So tell us a little bit about your story.
So I graduated back in 2008. I took the NCLEX twice and I failed twice. At the time I did have a small son and I felt like, you know what, let me go into the working force. So instead of me continuing to try and pass my NCLEX again, I decided to work and start another career. As he is older now, I said, you know what, let me get back into the nursing because it is something that I always wanted to do. And I am so close to becoming a nurse, all I had to do was just pass the NCLEX. So thanks to Miss Savane and Miss Gordon and Ready to Pass, I took the NCLEX in June and I passed and I became an LPN.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit. So when you initially came to Ready to Pass, I think you had already tested 4 times, right?
Yes.
So you came to Ready to Pass, you were not successful. So your 5th attempt, you went to 145 questions. And then what made you decide to do individual tutoring and try to change things? Like what made you say, okay, let me do something different? What were you doing? And then what did you do differently? Because 2008 to 2022, that's about 14 years. So it's definitely been a long time for you. You sat through the test a couple of times and you did not give up. So where was there a pivotal moment that you said, wait a minute, what I'm doing is not working? How did that go?
So I think after meeting up with you a couple of times and we discussing like the content more as opposed to focusing on the questions. I think before I was more question heavy, and now this time I was trying to get the content, especially since I've been out of school for such a long period of time, having things be retaught to me and remembering things and everything like that. I said, you know what, let me fall back from the questions and actually start to do the content and make sure that I get the content right. Because if you get the content right, the questions will come automatically.
So what point gave you that pivotal idea? Because I deal with students all the time and they're telling me I'm doing these questions, I'm doing that questions, I'm doing these questions. But then when I ask them content questions, they have no idea what I'm talking about. So what or how did you decide, you know what, let me sit down and really learn this content? Because that's really the hard way out. When you sit down and you really have to study everything. And I know that you have 3 children and I know that it wasn't easy to pay for individual tutoring. And, you know, there were times where we would be studying and I would hear one of your children in the background and we still push through. So what did that feel like, the stress of having to study and having your children and not maybe working because you were taking time off to study? What did that part honestly feel like for students who may be in a similar situation?
Trust me, it is stressful, but just continue to strive, continue to keep on pushing, you'll get through it. You know, after meeting with Miss Savane about 1 or 2 times, and she was like, Armani, you gotta get your content, you gotta get your content, you gotta get your content. I was like, you know what, let me just fall back from the questions, let me just study this content. And then me and Miss Savane came up with a study plan. So each topic, I would actually sit down, try to read the book. The book is very good. I would read the book front to back. I would know it, you know, with my eyes closed. At the end of our tutoring sessions, Miss Savane was like, you got it, girl, you got it. And I do remember her saying, like, you know, have your tools. If you know your tools, you got it. She was like, nobody goes to war without any tools. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna go to this test with my tools.
So definitely when we came down to the end of our tutoring sessions, I knew you had it because again, at that point, there was nothing that I could really ask you that you didn't know. So when you failed the 5th time, you were at 145. And I know we discussed, you know, you're close. It could have just been 1 question. And then when you passed at 75. So basically you definitely aced it. So again, I just want to say congratulations to you to graduate in 2008 and to be taking this test for 14 years and to pass on your 6th attempt. I just wanted to say congratulations. LPNs are definitely needed. They are a big member of our healthcare team. And we can't survive without LPNs, especially right now. We desperately need them. I know that you're going to be a great nurse. One of the things that I like to focus on is, you know, I'm not just interested in nurses passing state boards. I'm interested in you being a safe entry level practitioner. And I'm sure that some of the things that we discussed is going to help you to do just that. So again, thank you for being honest. Thank you for being open. Thank you for being transparent. Thank you for trusting in us. Because the thought process could be, you know, I failed 4 times. I took this class. I still failed. Why should I continue with them? And I already failed. But you were mature enough to know that the failure was not necessarily because of what we did or we didn't do, but it was because of what you needed to do. And you stepped up to the plate and you did that. And I definitely applaud you and congratulate you. And, you know, I know it's not easy dealing with kids. And I know there were days when we were studying and you kind of had to put the kids on hold. And your sacrifice is appreciated. And I just really wanted to say thank you for trusting and ready to pass. And do you have any questions, comments, statements?
I just want to say thank you as well for definitely taking your time out, your busy schedule, to actually work with me to come up with a study plan. I don't think if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be in this position I am today. So I definitely want to thank you for that. I mean, you'll always have a place in my heart, Ms. Savane.
Thank you so much. So 14 years, 6 attempts, Armani Forcer, LPN.
Yes.
So congratulations, Armani. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations.